You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the program. This is Rick Robinson, one half of the crew for the Jim and Rick Show. We're live right now on KLRNradio.com. We do this thing every Tuesday and Thursday. So, I didn't really think about it, but, Tuesday's a federal holiday for me. So, I wanted to leave it up to you because I'm already doing a show because Jess and I are going to be doing like an indie ear kind of thing on Tuesday. So, with everything that's going on with holiday stuff, are we down for Tuesday? You want to take the night off? What do you want to do?
Let me let you know, because I might be down because I think most of my family, I'm not leaving. I'm going to be not too far from you, and I'm not leaving until Wednesday. But I think a lot of the Loud family will be leaving Tuesday afternoon. So I might be down to, after all the craziness, to escape and hop on with you for an hour.
Right,
let me
cool.
just kind of double check that there's not anything planned, but yeah.
Well, let's play it by ear. But regardless, the title of the show fits because this is our last show before Christmas. So I don't remember if we've played it on this show yet or not. But even if we have, I don't care. We're about to play the Third Rail Ramblers' newest Christmas parody. I can't remember if we've played it over here yet or not because I've been playing it everywhere else. I don't think it's made it over here yet because I'm pretty sure I got it on Tuesday. I don't think we played it Tuesday night over here. I don't remember playing it anyway. Did we play it already?
I don't remember. I don't think you've played it. So play it.
I don't think we've played it over here. All right, so it'll take me a second to get that queued up. So we have, as usual, we have like 30 seconds to prep. So in case you guys haven't figured it out, this show's basically just us taking 30 seconds, looking at the newsfeed, and yelling and screaming. Well, that's me. Jen actually has cogent points most of the time. I'm the ranter. But it's kind of what I do. So anyway, I guess one of the biggest things in the news today is the fact that, Donald Trump basically told the UN Security Council that, or not actually the full UN, that, you either support us or we're going to cut your funding. Apparently most of them either didn't believe him or they don't care because they just did their whole little non-binding, we're going to make ourselves look tough resolution that says you were wrong for moving your embassy to Jerusalem. And I'm like, and I talked about this first hour, so I'm going to let Jen talk about it more. But the thing with me with that is, the Congress in America for like the last 50 years has passed these non-binding solidarity things with Israel that says, well, we recognized that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, but we're going to keep our embassy in Tel Aviv. How the hell does that work?
Yeah. So to be really clear, they are being chastised and ridiculed and condemned for recognizing Israel's capital as Israel's capital.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
I has confused. This is I mean I understand the complicated
hang on.
What they think. Okay, go.
No, sorry, that actually loaded faster than I expected. I was just working on getting that queued up, and then it started playing. So I'm like, wait a minute. So yeah, keep talking. Sorry.
And I understand the extremely complicated and very tense history of the area, and I get that the media has allowed for this to be extremely controversial for decades now, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And so I get it from that standpoint why people are freaking out. But really, let's just get down to bare bones. They're mad that we're recognizing Israel's capital as Israel's capital.
Yeah, I mean, but so here's one of the points that I made on Off the Rails, and this is a serious question for those of you listening at home. Where is Israel's embassy in America? Because it's damn sure not in Oklahoma City. Where exactly do you think their embassy is? Is it in Pennsylvania? Is it in Florida? No, it's in Washington, D.C. So if our government keeps saying we recognize Jerusalem is your capital, but we're going to keep our embassy in Tel Aviv, what is our government actually telling Israel? We have your back, but we kind of really don't?
Right. And by the way, there has been a desire from at least 3 other administrations, and actually promises made to do this in the past anyways. And let's let Jan on a little secret. They weren't all Republican. They certainly weren't Trump. So this has been a long time coming, and I'm not sure it wouldn't matter whether it was Trump or anybody else if the way that the liberal elite has gone and the media has gone, and the way that so many of these democratic socialist countries have gone now, I don't think it matters if it's Trump or even if it had been Obama. I think it would have been an issue for them because they have so succumbed to the Palestinian plight.
Well, let's be real. If Trump, or not Trump, if Obama had recognized Jerusalem as the capital of anything, it would have been the capital of Palestine. Saying.
That could be true. He did. There were comments by his administration early on in his first term, though, talking about the importance of our alliance with Israel and whatever. And then we turned, obviously we found out what lip service all of that was because of the treatment of Netanyahu in this country during his administration was absolutely abhorrent and embarrassing to me as an American. But the idea wasn't initially, before he was actually president, they knew that was something that they had to campaign on and be strong on, was solidarity with Israel. And one of the things that had come up was about the capital being recognized. So that was just as recently as Obama. It also happened with George W. Bush. And because of uncontrolled circumstances, 9/11, there were more pressing things of importance, and the area was nothing short of completely shaky. I mean that entire it was just such a fragile situation that we went to war, and we made an already unstable, an already unstable Middle East became even more unstable, and it was just it was a recipe for disaster to try to add even more turmoil on top of that. I think it would have turned into a lot of bloodshed had the Bush administration, while tearing down Saddam in Iraq, is also moving the embassy in Israel. And there are reports that Netanyahu and him at the time agreed that it was not the right time to go ahead and do so. But the Clinton administration had promised it too, and they just never pulled the trigger. So this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, and actually, I, for one, am really glad that this happened. One of the things, because, this was all breaking while I was at work, so I didn't really have a chance to read through much of it because I was too busy watching the liberals' heads explode on Twitter to kind of really pay attention to the articles. But so I got home and I started reading through some of it to do show prep for the 7 o'clock show, and I started and I realized that some of our staunchest allies were on the other side of this thing. I mean, like Great Britain voted against us in this thing. So what, it wasn't bad enough that we kicked your ass once? You want to stand up on the other side again? Is that really very smart? If it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking German right now. Just saying.
I'm not really sure what is going on in some of our with some of our strongest allies in the Western world, in Western Europe. I don't know. I know that the first thing that the administration wants to say, and that a lot of people on the right want to say, is PC culture, and they've been, taken over, and they no longer can see the danger, and da 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 da. So there's that whole thing.
Were you listening at 7? Because that sounded a lot like me.
No. But I don't think that that tells the whole story. I think there's more at play here, and I don't know if it's, you know, backroom alliances. I don't know if it's because of politics in their own country and securing their leadership for the future, and or what it is. But there's certainly been a pretty large change in the tide. I think even 5 or 6 years ago, this resolution doesn't fly.
Well, you know, there is now a Muslim mayor in Londonistan. I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you knew I was going to bring that up. All right, so anyway, because it goes along well with the rest of the stuff that we're going to kind of be talking about, because, you know, liberals' heads are all splody over the tax breaks and everything else. So let's roll out Armageddon, shall we say? Actually, this is the newest parody from the Third World Ramblers. It is a Christmas parody, and it is actually legitimately called Armageddon is This Year, to the tune of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So here we go.
We've known shootings and protests and Russian collusion, perverts galore with houseplants they're abusing. But do you recall the most wokest crisis of all? Armageddon is this year, even though we must oppose. The new tax bill is toxic, millions will die, you know. Our country in ruins by next year, and we scream that Trump's to blame. Even if we impeach him, it'll all turn out the same. One more thing for us to grieve, and oy vey, it's a shame. He moved our embassy one night, Jerusalem, now that ain't right. Now all the Muslims hate us, undid Obama's legacy. Donald, the alt-right premier, bastard will start World War III. Armageddon is this year, even though we must oppose. The new tax bill is toxic, millions will die, you know. Our country in ruins by next year, and we scream that Trump's to blame. Even if we impeach him, it'll all turn out the same. One more thing for us to grieve, and oy vey, it's a shame. He moved our embassy one night, Jerusalem, now that ain't right. Now all the Muslims hate us, undid Obama's legacy. Donald, the alt-right premier, bastard will start World War III.
I'm sorry, it gets. This is like the fourth time I've listened to it. It still gets me every single time.
Oh my gosh, I love them so much.
Oh my god! So you know, for those of you that are wondering, this is kind of more from the perspective of the splody head liberals than us, because that's kind of. I mean, honestly, if you look at the news for the last 3 weeks and all the things that they've been talking about in social media, that song that they always do this. The songs that they put out, because you know they've been working on that for a few weeks. The songs they put out always seem like they come out at just the right time, and I'm like, everything you're talking about in this song has been something that somebody on Twitter as a liberal Angelo has had a meltdown about within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's really, really great. The timing is always impeccable.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't, because, it's just the two of them, and it takes them a while to get them done. But when they put them out, it's like, I don't know if one of them is psychic or what, because it's like anytime they do this, it's like the song comes out at like the perfect time. And the funny thing is, this was done before the tax bill ever passed, and now we're hearing the libs say exactly that. They've been saying it now for a month. It's toxic. It's going to kill everybody. People are going to be dead in the streets the moment it passes. Honestly, I haven't seen any dead bodies. So I'm not sure what they're talking about. But to bring this up, because this is one of the things that honestly has me really, really confused and kind of concerned. Because the libs for years, when businesses get tax cuts, they don't pass them on to their employees. They pass them on to their stockholders, or they keep them and put it in their own pocket. And of course, within like 2 seconds of everybody figuring out the tax bill was going to pass, there were a handful of companies that said just that. Well, we're not going to keep the money or do anything with it, but we're going to give it to our shareholders as part of their dividends. You know what? They're the business owners. They can do with it what they want. But then I started listening to all these people. See, we told you they're not going to do anything with the money but make their investors even richer. And then all these other companies start coming out, like AT&T and Comcast, and start talking about these bonuses that they're going to pass along to their employees now that they know for sure that they're going to be getting these tax cuts. And then everybody's like, well, these are things they already had in the works. And I said, yeah, but they were on hold until they knew whether or not they were going to get these tax cuts. Now they're actually going to do these things, and it's just for better optics. No, it's not. It's because now they know that they have the savings in place from the tax changes to be able to do these things that they had been planned on doing, and in the event that the tax cuts came through. It's not anything about optics. That's why they didn't announce it until after the tax cuts came through. So then I start seeing all these accounts on Twitter that all of a sudden are like, we should boycott AT&T, we should boycott Comcast, and boycott any company giving their employees bonuses. And I'm like, wait. So I go start looking at the accounts, because I'm like, okay, so when was this one established? How many tweets has it had recently? Is this one of those bot accounts, or is this some crazy liberal? And so sure enough, I start looking, and some of them I can't tell, because, some of these bot accounts have been around for a while, and they've got decently established history, so it's kind of hard to tell right away. But I start looking, and some of these have been consistently tweeting liberal stuff, and it's been kind of consistent. So I'm literally watching people that, claim to be the party for the little guy talking about boycotting businesses for putting money back in their employees' pockets. What the hell world am I living in?
Oh, they have lost their dang minds. I mean, you can't make these people happy. So they go through this whole fight for 15 thing, and here you have companies voluntarily increasing wages and then also giving bonuses to people, and they're griping about it being a PR stunt. I mean, who cares you think that it wouldn't have been a stunt also if they had done it because of your dumb hashtag Fight for 15 rallies and Twitter campaigns? I mean, get real. You either want it or you don't, and apparently you don't, as long as the GOP gets credit.
Yeah,
they would rather
exactly
the poor people down. They would rather keep wages down, wages they claim to want to raise, people they claim to want to help. They would rather keep that down if it means the Republicans and specifically Trump gets credit for the raise.
So here's the thing that from kind of the same vein, because I seem to remember a certain community organizing mom jeans wearing president who told everybody that once the Obamacare stuff got passed, we were going to save $2,500. The media, based on him saying that, basically portrayed him as somebody that could walk on water. And I'm not even kidding. We joke about the derangement of the extreme right that have basically made all these pictures of Trump in like angelic garb and with the sword of, an archangel and all these different things about how he's saving the world and yada, yada, yada. But you know what? The left was just as bad when it came to Obama. And at least I've called out both sides of that and they're like, what the hell are you thinking? They're people. They're not saviors. But so Obama says he's going to do it, doesn't ever actually get it done. I mean, not only did we not save any money, if anything, I've spent more money on my health care because now I used to have double coverage. Now I have single coverage. I'm paying more for less coverage than I had before. My copays are higher. My deductibles are higher. So tell me where my savings are. So Donald Trump, because I've looked at the numbers in the state of Oklahoma, folks within mine and my wife's income level are going to be expected to be able to save about $2,000 a year. $2,000 a year. That's better than the numbers that I was looking at the other day when I figured it at like 75 cents an hour. We're talking about a $2 an hour pay raise.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, the outrage. And everybody's dying. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I almost like every time I turn on the news or open Twitter or go to one of I usually kind of do in a morning. I go through some emails and go through a few news sites, and it's hard not to just sit there and like snarf my coffee from laughing because, it just can't get more ridiculous than it is, but I know it will.
Oh, it's going to. I mean, Rosie O'Donnell basically committed a felony on open Twitter, but, she was only kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, different rules.
She was blatantly like, DM me for any Republicans who will vote against this. I will give you $2 million apiece. Then she started calling them out by name. It says, no, I'm not kidding. You and you DM me if you vote against this. If you vote not to kill American people, I will give you $2 million. I'm not kidding. And then so somebody a little later down in the tweet says, well, I know you're only kidding because you really can't do that, but. And she's like, no, I'm not kidding. It's obvious these people have a price. I'm serious. DM me and $2 million. Like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. If this was a conservative that did that, they would be permabanned from Twitter. Their Facebook would be deleted, and the FBI would have been knocking on their door. I'm just saying.
Oh, I even think not even just a conservative. I think someone with lesser celebrity. I think this could happen to possibly even someone who was left-leaning but had lesser celebrity and clout than Rosie does, or at least like a centrist. You know what I mean? I think that there is just like a certain echelon of people that are untouchable when it comes to stuff like that online. Or on TV, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a certain class of people, of celebrity. You've gotten to a certain point, and you can do or say whatever you want to online or on TV, including targeted harassment and outright freaking hate speech and bullying. We've watched dozens get away with this, and I don't think it's entirely a left versus right thing, though it tends to be more leftist because more people in that position are left-leaning. But I think it also just has to do with the intimidation of the celebrity.
No, exactly. I mean, it's just astounding to me. Oh, and there's something else coming across my feed from foreignpolicy.com. Looks like they're rattling the sabers again. Trump appears to have known Flynn violated Logan Act and statute prohibiting making false statements to FBI. Folks, before this is over, we will discover that Trump knew everything about everything as it was happening. This is only the beginning. Shut up. Dude, nobody cares anymore. You guys have had a year. You haven't found anything. The only people at this point that are screaming about Trump firing Mueller are the Democrats. Why is that? Because I actually have audio that I played on America Off the Rails where Trump flat out said in a press conference, I am not firing Mueller. Why do you look so surprised? That's the exact clip. They said, do you have any plans on firing Mueller? No. What's the matter? You look surprised. That's the exact clip. But then today, from the floor of the Senate, another Democrat was like, and the Trump administration is planning on firing the special prosecutor. And I'm thinking, no, he's not. He's already told you he's not. Vice President Pence, who stopped his trip to Israel and the Middle East because he thought he was going to be needed for the tiebreaker vote, flies into Afghanistan today. The first question they ask him when he gets off the plane, not about the tax break and tax relief coming to the American people, not anything to do with the trip. What are your thoughts on Mueller? He's like, I don't have any thoughts on Mueller. He's doing his investigation. We're cooperating with him. Well, do you think the president's going to fire him? No! I mean, what is it with the Democrats? I mean, at this point, I'm really starting to think they want him to fire him, because if he does, it gives them what they think is going to be a smoking gun. But I think there may be something else there. I really do. I think they're becoming afraid of everything else that we're finding out while this guy's digging. Like all the Hezbollah connections that are coming out about the Obama administration. And the fact that they quashed a years-long investigation to try to smooth over the Iran deal. This is crazy. The type of collusion that they're looking for in the Trump administration happened under every single one of their noses in the Obama administration, and they turned a blind eye to it. Much worse than that, the media was on their knees doing unspeakable things to him while he was doing these things.
Well, it's the media. I mean,
I'm beside myself. The thing that really just brought it all home to me today was seeing these liberals on Twitter talking about boycotting companies that were putting money back in the American people's pockets. Look, I get it. You know, if it were me, and I said as much, if there were too many companies that came out and said, you know, we're going to give this money to our stockholders, those would have been the ones that I would have started saying, you know, maybe we need to start maybe not spending money there. Let's find the companies that are putting the money back in people's pockets and maybe go spend money there. These people seem to be, you know, they use the ones that are, well, see, they're not doing the right thing with the money. We told you they wouldn't. Oh, crap, these guys are. We should boycott them. What the hell?
Well, the boycotting. So what I find interesting about all of that, the boycotting is typically what they mock conservatives for. Right? Like there have been a lot of things that have come out where like conservatives are going to boycott because of some liberal CEO and something they said, or like not putting Merry Christmas out there, or like whatever else. And like liberals like just mock conservatives or the right like relentlessly for all of that stuff. And quite frankly, I typically do too, because I think it's pretty silly. In most cases, I think it's pretty silly. Every now and then I'm like, okay, I can see that. And like, by the way, totally cool with everybody making their choices. Like you can absolutely choose not to shop somewhere because you have like, you're like, you know, have some sort of like moral dilemma with them, or you have a personal dislike of something from their board or their you know president or their CEO or whatever. That's totally cool. But the like coerced and the you know, kind of created campaigns to boycott, and that if you don't, then you're not a good conservative. That kind of thing, it makes me annoyed and gets under my skin. It's very like Hannity-esque, and I'm not down with it. So, but these same people that are constantly like ridiculing conservatives for boycotting anything, no matter what it is, are real quick to do the same when it's something they believe in and that they're mad about. And usually with them, it's not so much of like some sort of principle or moral, you know, statute. It's more of like just like pissy pants, you know, foot stomping because they're mad about something political, and it's not really has nothing to do with like the companies or what they're doing.
Sorry, I was catching up in the chat. Ron has a pretty good point. So McDonald's gets picketed for not paying $15 an hour. AT&T gets picketed or boycotted for paying $15 an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean that is the liberal hypocrisy mindset on display. And I'm done saying liberal because I have friends that I consider liberal that aren't this crazy. I need to start training myself to say leftist because these people aren't liberals anymore. They're just flat out I'm not going to say alt left. That's too much like Hannity, but I almost did. But they're just really, really too far left to make any sense anymore. These are the same people, and this is the thing that I think is the most funny. They're listening to people like Nancy Pelosi and Bernie Sanders tell them how the Republicans are only out to help the rich people. You are rich people. Bernie, Uncle Speedo, you have 3 houses. Man, sell 2 of your houses and give the money to homeless people, and then tell me how broke you are. Then we can talk. You know, that's like I saw, and I don't even remember who it is now, but it was somebody. It was somebody from Hollywood that was complaining about the taxes and how the taxes were only going to help the rich people. But then she was complaining that her taxes were going up by 3%. I'm confused.
Well,
because if you're in Hollywood, and if I could remember her name, it would make more sense, but I honestly can't. But so she's actually a fairly well-known person from Hollywood who's actually made really good money. She's less well-known now, and for the life of me, I cannot think of who it was that I saw put out this tweet. But she was literally complaining because her taxes were going up. You are part of the uber rich, and you're complaining that these taxes are only going to help rich people, but you're complaining that your taxes are going up. I'm confused.
Oh, well, but see, it gets to change, like, however it is that they want to feel about it because of, anything political. So it doesn't have to make sense, Rick. Like, they can change the rules constantly, and logic be damned, because they will just make that crap up as they go. I mean, there really is no true logic, but they will do some sort of mental gymnastics to convince, or try to convince you. They won't convince you yourself, but I mean other people, that there is rhyme or reason to it. And I mean, it has just gotten to such absurd levels. Like I said, when I just sit down with my coffee and I'm trying to kind of go through things in the morning, I am sitting there going am I reading The Onion? These people have lost their minds.
You can't lose what you've never had. Al actually saved my bacon. He pointed out that it was Bette Midler that I was talking about. So yeah. who is, one of the Hollywood elites, has lots and lots of money, talking about how the taxes are only going to help the rich people, but then she's lamenting that her taxes are actually going up. I'm confused by all of this, because if the taxes are only going to help the rich people, why is it all the rich people I see are complaining that their taxes are going up? Isn't that what the liberals wanted? Isn't that what they always say? Rich people should pay more. Bet, why are you complaining that you're having to pay more? You're one of the rich people you were just talking about. I'm confused.
Every dang time. The
worst thing about it is because, they were all convinced that, that this will be the GOP's albatross when the tax plan doesn't come through. The thing about it is, we're going to know soon enough, and this is what has them scared, and this is why they're all trying to do everything they can to, I guess, go trumping and doing something stupid, because we're going to start seeing the changes in the tax code in February. You will legitimately be able to look at your your check stub if you work for somebody that has a W-4 on file for you from the end of January and then the beginning of February, and you're going to see the taxes on your check have started going down if you're within the brackets where you qualify for it. And 88% of the people in America that pay taxes are looking at a tax cut. The 12% that are not going to get a tax cut are the folks like Bette Midler that already have enough money that have been screaming that the rich need to pay their fair share anyway, and their taxes are going up because the rich need to pay their fair share. Just saying.
Well, Rick, but what is a fair share?
Well, I mean, I don't honestly like that phrase. I mean,
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they always talk about this fair share, but what is it?
Well,
what would be good enough? If the wealthy gave away everything, or is it just what you profit, or is it half your income, or is it, okay, well, you have this much to live off of from your investments and from your 401k and all that, so you just need to deal with that and cash that stuff in and give away everything else you have? Is it, and at what point does that start? Is it when you have $200,000? Is it when you have $100,000? Is it when you have $500,000? Is it when you cross the million mark? I mean, they can't define any of it, and it's just such a BS thing to say.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, to me, there really isn't a fair share, because this is where my libertarian side comes out. Taxation is theft, not a hashtag true statement. I honestly, if it were up to me, there would be no taxation. I understand that we have to have some government, and that's why I'm not an anarchist. But I think government needs to be as minimal as possible. And that's one of the things that I get into arguments with people about all the time, because they're like, well, how much government is enough government? And I'm like, basically, if we could get them back to doing what they were supposed to do in the Constitution, I'd be fine. Because, the federal government, with the way the Constitution is actually structured, the federal government doesn't exist the way it exists today. It really had three things it was supposed to do: trade, mutual defense, and There was something else that I can't think of off the top of my head because it's been a long day. But, so there were that was it. All this other stuff, the EPA, all these things that everybody's like, oh my God, people are going to die because we're not going to keep up with our environment anymore. Well, I'm really tired of having to be the vacuum cleaner of the world. So why don't we make some of these other countries pick up some of the slack? That's like everybody got mad when Trump pulled us out of the Paris Accords. They were a joke. It's redistribution. Anything that the left is happy about is redistribution. You want to know why they're threatening to boycott companies that are giving the money back to their employees? Because it doesn't fit their narrative, because corporations are evil that don't care about their employees, and the only way that you can be happy is if the government takes the money from the rich people so they can give it to you. That's,
ding, 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 ding,
that's
ding, ding.
why they're threatening to boycott the companies that are doing it right, because they can't let you see that they've been wrong this entire time.
Right, because all they have told us is that if they get a corporate tax break from the highest corporate taxes in the world, if they get a corporate tax break, if they are able to keep more of that money and reinvest it within their company or figure out whatever it is they want to do with it, they have tried to tell us for decades, it will not matter. They are greedy scum and they will never put it back to their people. And what have so many major companies done? And I don't care if it is a PR stunt. Good. It's one they're going to have to keep up because they put out the press release and they're going to have to keep it up. And if more, if they get more back, then they're going to have to keep doing it, because then people will go, wait, what the heck? Last time, blah, blah, blah. And if it's not a recession, they'll have no excuse. They're going to have to keep it up and keep doing it. And if they're raising all these wages, guess what that means? They can only go up from there. They're not taking them back down. They could never do that. That would be an absolute PR nightmare. It only goes up from here. So trying to diminish that and trying to condescend that and pretend like it's not for the good and the better of the employees, the American people, the economy, and these companies is absolute. It is either A, asinine, because you just blindly follow and chew on some narrative, or B, completely intellectually dishonest, and you know it, and you're choosing to manipulate people so that you can make them think that the GOP is evil.
Don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
I need a breath.
well, it's good that you need a breath, because we were ranting a bit. We blew way past the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a really quick break. We'll be right back.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, folks, so since this is the last show before Christmas, instead of doing a bunch of ranting and raving, let's talk about some good news that the media is not talking about. But first, before we do that, I have to say this because I was really disappointed when I just saw something flash across my newsfeed. Tom Hanks has gone and stuck his foot in his mouth. You know, he has his moments. He says things every once in a while, but most of the time, he tends to try to steer clear of it. I actually was kind of putting him in the category of almost Taylor Swiftish, you know, because she pretty much just stays out of all of it, and because of that, she's had a really good year, and then got slammed for saying she had a really good year when everybody else is like, oh my God, we're all dying and there's blood in the streets. But Tom Hanks just basically told someone who asked that he wouldn't go to the White House even if President Trump asked him. First of all, Tom, I don't necessarily think that he would invite you. He seems to be too busy actually trying to deliver on the things that he promised the American people that he was going to do, which is something that I have to admit I haven't seen very many presidents actually do in my lifetime. I can only think of one.
Yeah, but so like you said, I was telling you on break that with these kinds of celebrities, you know, I don't think that they have to never say anything. I think that is an unreasonable expectation for any human being. And as someone who is a political nerd, I can't really fault them for saying stuff when I myself, like, I'm not working in politics. I'm not, you know, yeah, I have my blog and stuff, and I've done, you know, I have educated myself in the way of politics, and I have a political science degree. We call it government at the University of Texas, but most people call it political science. It varies a bit, but similar thing. But I'm not, you know, actively working in the field. And so people could say that I'm stepping outside of my profession to say something too. So I don't generally think that they should just shut up. But I do think that and I appreciate that people have their beliefs and causes that they want to promote or go after. I think there's a way to go about it. What I do appreciate, though, are the people that have not made it all about that. And Hanks was one of those people who hadn't made it all about that. He'd comment every now and then. He'd say a little something if he was directly asked sometimes, but mostly not. And that wasn't the way he chose to be about it all. And I respect that, too, because the media is clamoring for all of them to say something, right? They're getting in their faces, just like all the backlash with Taylor Swift recently, because she wouldn't make a statement. And they were like, how dare you? And could not, like, oh, can you even support her now because she won't come out against Donald Trump, basically. And that's not fair to these people either. And I think they get put in a hard position a lot of times, whether it's an athlete or a musician or an actor or whatever else. And maybe I'm a little bit sensitive to this subject because I've worked in the industry and I have family in the industry, very close family that is reaching celebrity-ish status in some ways that I feel for this a little bit more than maybe I did 10 years ago. But it's a hard place to be put in. And it's pretty easy, though, to say, no, you know, that's not what I am about. I'm not going to comment on. But then when you have celebrities that go out of their way to make statements and do things like this statement was not something that like even needed to be said. So it seemed like a purposeful out of out of his way dig at the administration. And I don't really care for that, no matter whose side you're on.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly my problem with it. It wasn't. It was just it was a dig was all it was. And like you said, if somebody's asking you and you honestly answer them, I really don't necessarily have an issue with that. Where I start having issues is and this happens a lot with celebrities and Twitter. Like I saw I can't think of his name right now. The dude that plays Hellboy was tweeting about how he had just come back into the country, and he said, I'm going through the airport, and as always, there's a picture of our president, and the first thing that hits me is this wave of dread, and then nausea, and then blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you play like some of the toughest people in movies I've ever seen, and you're a pansy.
Yeah, well, and I think, I think even a little bit beyond what we've touched on, I think that this idea that everyone is political. I have so many people in my daily life that work all different kinds of professions, and it's not that they're uneducated. Almost all of them have a degree or multiple degrees, but some of them just really don't care about the day-to-day politics, so they don't have a comment to make on every little thing that goes down. That doesn't mean that they don't look into candidates before they vote, and some of them do, some of them don't, but they do. Not every single one of them cares about all this stuff. And we can't assume that every actor, singer, whatever single thing that goes on in politics. So asking for them to be spokesmen and then also asking for people to believe them and respect their opinion more than other people's is asinine.
No, it is, and as
I really have the problem with the importance placed on their opinion, as if Taylor Swift does speak out and she's like, Trump is such a jerk and I hate him and I think he's going to try to put me back in the kitchen in my bare feet with a pregnant belly, that would have more weight than something you or I say. That's just absolutely ridiculous, and I'm just really sick of them placing these celebrities on a pedestal in regards to their political opinions when so many of them are not any more educated than the average American, which they always clamor is so completely uneducated in politics.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Not everybody has to have an opinion, but that's kind of my thing with movie stars. I don't go see your movies to see your political opinions or even your affiliations. So I mean, even like the ones that I agree with most of the time, I kind of just wish they would stay off Twitter. Because I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, the one I guess I really don't give that much of a hard time to about, because he's on there all the time, is James Woods, because I don't remember the last time I saw him in anything. So I think he's kind of retired now and just tweets all day, because it's pretty much what he does. So, I guess that's his new thing. All right, so as promised on the way out, let's focus on some good news as we're coming up towards the Christmas season and the fact that, again, these were things that people said were never going to happen. So this is some of the stuff that's happened within the last few days. So the economy is growing at a rate not seen in years. The U.S. economy grew at 3.2% annual rate in the third quarter of 2017, posting the best back-to-back quarterly growth rates in 3 years. The Commerce Department originally projected real GDP to grow at a marginally higher rate of 3.3%, off expectations that consumers would spend more money. While the economy's third quarter growth figures fall slightly shorter of predictions, it's still up from 3.1% growth in the second quarter. So not only did it not go down or stall, it actually did still grow. Some are predicting continued growth in the fourth quarter, anticipating steady market growth following the passage of Republicans' tax reform proposals. But let's not forget, all major economists are apparently supposedly against this tax plan, but some of those same economists are predicting growth because of the tax plan. Now, as expected, Republicans were able to make good on that promise Wednesday, passing the most extensive rewrite of the personal and corporate tax code in more than 30 years. American businesses responded almost immediately in what appeared to be a synchronized series of announcements about reinvesting in their employees and the nation. AT&T announced Wednesday that it will provide $1,000 bonuses to more than 200,000 AT&T U.S. employees and invest an additional $1 billion in the United States in 2018. Comcast shortly followed suit, pledging $1,000 bonuses to hundreds of thousands of employees and a $50 billion reinvestment in the U.S. Boeing promised to put $300 million into reinvestment and charitable giving. These are just a few of the companies that are doing this, and there's more and more of them that are coming out. This is why the left is beside themselves. Because they've drank their own Kool-Aid for so long that they've believed it. They honestly thought that if we gave company control of their purses more again, they would basically make themselves rich. And in some ways, they've been right, because there have been some companies that have done it right for a long time, and then some like Walmart that seem to take things in the wrong direction. But for every company that does it wrong, there's just as many that would be willing to do it right. And that's why we've got to support the ones that do it right and try to shy away from the ones that do it wrong. We're their customers. Not only the people that work there are their employees, but we're their customers. We should support the companies that do it right and shy away from the ones that do it wrong. And I've said that from the beginning. That's like, to me, one of the things that I'm the most happy about is with the liquor reform laws that are about to kick in here in November. We have Costco's looking to come into Oklahoma for the first time in a long time. Actually, first time ever. They're actually a company that's big enough to give Walmart a run for their money, and they do it right. They pay their employees a decent wage. Their managers make good money, but it's not crazy money. And even their CEO makes a comfortable wage, but he's not making millions of dollars a year because they reinvest it back into the company. But we can't tell these people that have built these businesses how to run them. All we can do is give them an incentive to do the right thing and hope that they do. And that's what this tax plan does.
Yeah, I just still can't. I just still can't understand why this is so hard to get. I don't understand how they can still stand there and say evil. And you know what I've seen a lot of, actually? A lot of what I've seen has been evil because it's not enough. It could have been more. Well, hey, wake up. Whatever little bit we can do now and hopefully build on for the future, great, because it's better than what we've got. So just because you're pissed that it didn't do more for X, income level or X family or, whatever, then that doesn't mean that it's still not a step in the right direction. If we start heading that way, we might be able to get it actually to where it would be more beneficial for most people that need it. And pretending like these corporations don't have a part in that is either completely naive or intellectually dishonest, like I said before, where you're trying to mislead people because of the narrative. When you're going hand in hand with tax cuts and stifling these businesses with tax cuts that are going to be able to pass it down, it's an immeasurable benefit. And I don't know exactly how this is all going to work out. We talked last show about how my eyes start to glaze over a little ways into like actually reading all the details. But what I can say is that a lot of the people that I trust that do know these subjects very well are encouraged. They're not 100% thrilled as punch, but they're encouraged and they think that this is a step forward. And so I'm inclined to believe them, and I think that it will benefit us.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's my thing. No, it's not perfect. Could it have done more? Yes. But here's the thing that has driven me crazy about conservatives for about the last 110 whenever we get a chance to start moving things in our direction again, we want a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, the knockout punch. We don't want to do things in inches and yards. That's why we always lose, because every chance that we have a moment where we can start pushing things back in the other direction, we can't get it done because it's not enough. It's not good enough. It should be more. You're right. Maybe it should be more. But let's stop trying to throw the Hail Mary and start working on getting a first down, for God's sake. This is a solid first down. This is a good first step. And if these
fantastic analogy, analogy. We can't go throwing for the end zone just yet. We're too far downfield. We've got to make a few first downs first, and then we can talk about the rest.
And here's the thing. If this first down does what we think it's going to do, the momentum is going to shift to the Republicans, because here's the down and dirty nitty-gritty of it, boys and girls. The Democrats shot themselves in the foot when they rammed through Obamacare. They're the only reasons the Republicans have managed to get control of the House, the Congress, or the House, the Senate, and eventually the White House, was because the Republicans kept running on being able to repeal Obamacare. You know what? They didn't get it done, but you know what they did do? They managed to pull Obamacare's teeth by getting rid of the mandate. That was one of the biggest job-killing things in this country. One of the biggest tax burdens on the American taxpayer was
continues to be. Continues to be. I'm glad we repealed the mandate.
And at least we pulled Obamacare's teeth, because now it's basically dead in name only. Because now, if you want it, fine. It's still there.
Yeah. What it means is they can't not give you coverage, and they can't not cover a pregnant woman or someone with a pre-existing and all that. And you know what? I think that was a part of the reform that the Republicans were willing to give them in the first place, but they had to go full throttle. So we need to not do the same thing. I know a lot of people want us to. We want to punch them back in the throat, but we need to take the necessary steps and get those first downs so we can score the touchdown. They went straight for the touchdown, and they cheated and deflated the balls in order to do it. And it has turned out terribly for the entire country.
So wait, the Democrats or the Patriots?
They are. Sorry, Patriots fans.
I hope
it's okay. Tom Brady's still hot.
I hope Di's not listening right now.
Hey, I just want to say something real quick. So one of the things that came about, and we all know Jennifer Rubin is the wannabe Republican who is obviously an extreme Democratic sympathizer. She had this piece in Washington Post, and is like about how for a lot of income, like if a person with $14,000 or whatever yearly income is only going to get $75 extra or whatever. And she was like, $75 would probably cover Trump's lunch tab at her father's club, because Ivanka commented on it, at her father's club, but really does nothing for those low income families. I said, and a lot of people had said some other stuff, but I said nothing. $75 can mean the difference in making rent or not 1 month, keeping the heat on, buy shoes that fit, an oil change, get a B-Day cake, a Christmas tree, socks and underwear without holes, antibiotics. If you don't know how much $75 is to most people, kindly STFU. I almost actually said it, but y'all know what that means. And that is the mindset of so many people. They're like, it's only $75. Do you know how much money $75 is? If you don't, if you are too far beyond that where you don't, you need to sit down.
But that's exactly it, because, I had the same conversation with a liberal friend of mine the other day who was like, but even if we get it, it's going to be, there's going to be people that'll get $40, maybe $75. I was like, dude, do you know how often $40 would have saved me from getting 3 overdraft charges in my bank account?
Exactly. I'm telling you, $75, even for me right now. And I am not in a place where I am always struggling month to month, but I have good months and bad months because of my position. And so my husband has his steady pay, and I have very unsteady pay because of doing events, and I can only get paid when they come around. So I go through a lot of months that are very unstable, and $75 means a whole heck of a lot. It might mean taking the pet to the vet. It might mean being able to get those extra groceries we don't absolutely have to have, but we want to have. It might mean whether or not I keep my Netflix subscription or not. And these are still very first world problems. There are people struggling with much more than that $75 means much more than that to them. So if it means something to me, I know it sure as heck means something to the people making less than $20,000 a year.
And as well it should. All right, but on that note, we are actually really starting to run really long. One of the reasons I'd let it go was because every so often when I started thinking, hey, it's about time to wind down, the thing was like freezing on me. So it seems to be responding again. I do want to leave you on one other bit of good news. The unemployment rate, now these are the doctored numbers. These are not the U6 numbers, but those doctored numbers that everybody talks so badly about, those actually were brought about during the Reagan administration because so many people were leaving the workforce to start companies and build businesses. So they serve a purpose. And under this administration, I think they may once again serve that purpose. Even using those numbers, though, the African American unemployment rate under this racist alt-right premier, you heard it from the Third Rail Ramblers, is at a 40 some odd year low. It hasn't been this low since 1972. The unemployment rate for everyone is lower than it's been in years. You know, the other thing that Democrats never really want you to know? Low unemployment rates are great because it means that there's competition for jobs. Do you know what happens when there's competition for jobs? Wages go up because they pay what they have to be able to keep people that they already have that they like doing the jobs. These are all natural things that will boost the economy. More money in your and my pocket also means that the service industry side of our economy is going to get a boost because maybe we'll save some money or invest it, which will help the investment firms. Maybe we'll go spend, maybe we'll have now enough money where we can go out to dinner one night extra a month. That's going to help somebody else's business grow. That's the thing. Trickle down works. And for all the people that tell you trickle down doesn't work, ask them when the last time was their city gave somebody a tax break to bring a business there, because that is trickle down economics. Don't let anybody tell you that it doesn't work, because everybody uses it. Everybody uses it. And when we use it, it works. No matter what the liberals seem to think, it works. I can tell you this firsthand because I'm old enough that I remember sitting in the gas lines at the end of the Jimmy Carter administration that all went away under Reagan because we fixed the economy. Anyway, done ranting.
All good.
All right, good night, folks. I hope everybody has a great Christmas. We'll see you again. Looks like maybe on Tuesday. We'll keep you posted. This is JandR Rick. We're out for the night. Take care. God bless.
Taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.